Welcome, man, to another live Learn to Love 101 podcast, video podcast. Uh, Thank you guys for joining. I'm so excited. It's been a while, right? It's been a while since we've been together, and so I've been looking forward to today. So hopefully the content that I have for you guys is valuable for you. You can apply it directly to your marriage or relationship. Now, tonight, I'm talking about the conscious partner, but I may reference marriage more than just general relationships because that's just kind of how my lingo goes, right? So, a lot of this, I think all of it, you could apply to relationships in general, romantic relationships, or I guess even, all relationships. So, but before I get started, let me give a few real quick kind of housekeeping things, as folks say. First of all, let me know if the sound is okay, because I hate sound issues. On my end, it looks fine, but I'm gonna keep going if the sound looks. If the sound does not sound like how I like it to sound, if you're a regular, then somebody text me or something and let me know. So the book, let me give you an update on the book. The book is coming to a close finally. I've been working hard at it. My goal is to be 100% done with the manuscript by my birthday, which is June 15th. As a matter of fact, if you feel like you want to bless a brother, the Bible says that it's better to give than receive. So if you want to bless me, feel free to do that. But the book is going to be finished in June. Now, you still won't have it. I still got to go through the whole publishing process and all that stuff. Right now, I'm just focusing on finishing the manuscript because it's so far behind. Also, I want to say this. Today, lost a good brother, guy I grew up with. His name is Sean. Excuse me. His name is Sean, and found out he passed today. And it's very sad. It's nothing can shake us humans like death. Make us kind of focus on what really matters. And a few years ago, around this same time, around my birthday, another guy that I grew up with, he passed. Both of these guys are younger than me. I feel like I'm pretty young. But it just goes to remind you that life is short. And so the information I'm sharing with you tonight, I believe, is even more, for me, more important to follow because our time is limited. We do not have an unlimited amount of time to do what we're here to do on the planet, right? So sending prayers to the Stanley family and praying for his children and his brother, Eric. I pray that, the Holy Spirit will comfort you guys in this time of your loss. Also, I want to share with you about the, I may have mentioned this the last time we talked, I'm not sure, but marriage intensives, right? I'm doing these marriage intensive now, which is different from traditional therapy, right? So a marriage intensive, in essence, is you work with me 2 or 3 days for a full day, 2 or 3 full days, and I take you through this process to get you from surviving to thriving in your relationship, right? After that, the idea is that you won't need any more therapy. Maybe a follow-up checkup, for the most part. Sometimes, people, they stop using the skills and then they got to come back to therapy. But the idea is to not have you spending months and years in therapy, right? So these marriage intensives I'm doing now, my goal is to transition to doing only marriage intensives. So if you want to work with me, that's probably the way you'll be working with me in the future. Right now, I'm still taking regular clients, but I'm just letting you know that's coming. I'm also putting together a marriage, I don't know what to call it. It's not really a retreat, but kind of like a marriage. Well, I'm still coming up with the label for it. But it's going to be like the marriage intensive. I'm going to take a few things out, and it's going to be a group of couples, right? So you can come and do that if you want. Okay? Now, last thing I want to tell you, make sure that you subscribe if you're on Facebook. On YouTube, subscribe. If you haven't, like the video and share it. Why? Not because I'm full of myself. but because the more you like and share, the more the algorithm work to where Facebook and YouTube will share it with more people, so more people can get this content into their hands. Okay, so if you feel like it blesses you, it'll certainly bless somebody else. Okay, now I was talking to a client. Last week, and they were talking about how they felt so disconnected. They hold on. Okay, yeah. They felt disconnected, and they both said that the spark in their marriage was gone, right? The spark was gone, and they don't know how to get it back. So as I begin to ask more questions, what I discovered is that they were doing marriage on autopilot, right? They were doing marriage on autopilot. So I said, hey, you guys have become you're doing marriage in a way like at a subconscious level, right? You have to become more conscious about the way you love each other. Well, when they left, I started to think about that, and I started to write some notes down about this idea of being a conscious spouse or a conscious partner, right? And that's what I'm going to talk to you tonight about, becoming a conscious partner. Now, the idea of being a conscious partner is the idea that so a person who's a conscious partner is someone who is intentional about the way they treat their partner, about the way they show up in relationships, and really the way they show up in life, right? So in talking with that couple from last week, I realized that most of our lives we live at the unconscious level. Yeah, most of us live our lives on autopilot, right? We have the same morning routine. You drive the same way to work, right? You talk to the same people, ask the same mind-numbing questions when you get off work. You know, how was your day? How was your day? What are we eating? You know, what are we doing this weekend? Same thing over and over. During sex, same positions. My goal, my goal is to help you to live more intentionally, especially in marriage and relationships, because that way you can experience a lot more joy. Right? The reason that you want to become more conscious in the way that you love your partner is because you have inside of you limiting beliefs in your subconscious that will take over if you're not intentional. Right? Now, I can't say definitively because I don't have research. So I'll say more than likely, you are not taught how to do relationships in a healthy way. You are not taught how to relate well, right? The first 8 to 10 years of life, where most of your core beliefs are formed, that's how you end up running the rest of your life unless you become intentional. And from those core beliefs, you end there. You get a what I call a subconscious program, and when you are doing life on autopilot, that automatic subconscious program just kicks in. The problem is there's a lot of junk in there, and living in a way that's not intentional is going to harm you, and it's definitely going to harm your relationships, right? So when you show up to adulthood without intentionality, you begin to live what you learned. You know, I always say, if you learned it wrong, you will live it wrong. So let's say you're in a relationship and you get upset. Your spouse does something that makes you angry or whatever. If you learn that how you feel doesn't matter, you will either not express yourself or you will express yourself in a way that is unhealthy. Right? So all of you who tend to hold things in, it's coming from a pre-programmed belief that activates automatically when the right situation arises. We call those triggers a lot of times, right? These unconscious reactions happen all the time in hundreds of different situations. And what I'm trying to get you to do is to be more intentional about making the choice to be a conscious partner more than unconscious. Now, most of you know that I'm finishing up my book, like I just said. Those of you who've been following me, you've heard me talk about this book a lot, right? So I recently hired a new therapist, and she's good at what she does. As a matter of fact, let me give her a little plug, especially for the summer, with the summer coming up and school getting out. She handles all of my children. She is great with children. She's been handling children for 10 plus years. And Shannon is good at what she does, when it comes to helping children to thrive, right? So anyway, she's kind of become my unofficial coach, because that's just what she does. I ain't even ask her. That's just what she does. But she asked me this question. She said, what are you going to do when you finish the book to celebrate? Now, this may sound crazy to you, but the concept of celebrating myself was foreign to me. I'm like, celebrate myself, right? See, the thing is this. We learn to treat ourselves the way we were treated growing up. So for me, other than on my birthday, I don't remember being celebrated, right? It's a foreign concept. When I do something that I believe is good, I'll enjoy it for a little while. But soon after, I'll begin to think about all that I haven't done, what I haven't finished, and what I have not conquered, right? So I'm giving you an example of what it's like when you live at the unconscious level. When you live at the unconscious level, you're going to learn childhood behavior. I think I probably started my real self-discovery around the age of 41. I'm about to be 49 in 2 weeks, and I'm still pulling back layers of unconscious beliefs that limit my effectiveness in life. So now, in the same way, in your marriage and in your relationships, you have to become aware of how you love. Because if you don't, your subconscious beliefs is going to run your relationships, and that's not enough. As a matter of fact, love itself is intentional. You can't accidentally love somebody, because love is an action, right? Love is a selfless, often sacrificial action towards someone else. And it's for their benefit, not yours. And it is to meet a need, not your need, right? It's to meet their need. You can't do that accidentally. You have to be intentional. The only way to become a great lover is to become a conscious partner. Now, when you've heard me say, when I say a great lover, here's my definition of a great lover. Now, this is just me. This is just what I say, right? I don't have research for this. I don't have Bible for this. This is what I believe. You've reached the level of great lover when you can give your best when you are receiving their worst. You're on a whole nother level when you can do that consistently. I can do it every now and then. My wife will tell you. But more times than not, when I'm not getting her best, she might get a little bit of my best, right? But she's not getting all of my best. But I'm working on that. Why? Because I want to be a conscious partner, right? So what does it look like? When you're a conscious partner, what does your relationship look like? So let's talk about some foundational elements of a conscious partner. Now, these are some basic things. That's why I call them foundational. And right now I only have 5, because I just started thinking about this last week. I said, let me come up with, really I had 7, but I took the other 2 out because I think these 5 would encompass it. But this is probably going to grow. But right now I have 5. And these are foundational, I think, elements to becoming a conscious partner. Now, next week, if you guys really like what I say today, maybe I'll stay on this topic and I'll go deeper and talk more about the specifics of what it looks like to be a conscious partner. But if y'all not feeling this, then we'll do something else next week or whenever, I do the next one, right? So check this out. So to be a conscious partner, you need to understand, number one, you need to understand that you are not your partner or your spouse, you are not married to you. I tell people that all the time because so often husbands want to be the kind of husband they want to be. Wives want to be the kind of wives that they want to be, or that their mom was, or, what they see out in society. But the thing is, you're not your wife. You're not your husband. You're their partner. That's important to know if you're going to be a conscious partner. Because at a subconscious level, you will treat them in a way as if, well, being a husband is it's on me and I could be how I want to be. No. You can't do that. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is you need to remember, and this is kind of connected to the first one. You got to remember, they don't experience you the way you think they do. Right? You and your partner are not in the same relationship. Technically you are, but in reality you're not. Y'all don't see the same. Y'all don't think the same, right? How you experience them is not how they experience you. That's why I think John Gottman said that we misunderstand each other in relationships. I can't remember the exact number, but watch this. It was over 90%. That's a lot. If you fail 90% of your classes, you're not going nowhere. So we misunderstand each other because we're all different, and nobody's interested in learning and understanding the other person. I need you to understand me, but I'm not really trying to understand you, right? So you got to remember that they don't experience you the way that you think they do. Both of you have inside of you internal dictionaries by which you define the world. They will never be the same. Your internal dictionary is based on your personality, your experiences, your traumas, your triggers, all you've been through in your life. And theirs is the same. So it's the reason why 10 people can look at an accident and give 10 different accounts of what happened. And all of them be accurate. Right? Dr. Rick Marks calls it perspective. I say you have an internal dictionary by which you define life. And a lot of times when you answer someone, you answer your partner based on what your dictionary says. But that ain't where they're speaking from. They're speaking from theirs. And y'all are doing this, just missing each other time after time. So you got to know that they don't experience you the way that you experience you. Here's another thing. Number 3, you need to pay attention to how they do life so that you can notice when something is off, right? This will make you better at meeting their needs. Because remember, I just said, love is about meeting needs. And go back to watch some of my other videos. I've talked extensively about love, but actually maybe I need to do that some more because I haven't talked, I don't think, enough about love and the connection to needs. Right? I've told you that love is action. I've told you, a whole lot of things about love, but I've only done 1 or 2 videos about love being primarily for needs. I think I need to do something connected to love versus favor. Because a lot of times couples come in the office and you think that you have a love need, and that's not a love need. That's favor. Now, sometimes that gets tricky, but we're not going to get into that. So, because I'll chase a rabbit and I'll be gone. Clifton, come back. So I'm not going to deal with that today, but I'm going to put that on the agenda. But you have to see, I chased the rabbit. Where was I? Somebody tell me. I can't hear y'all. So you can't tell me. And I can't see your comments yet because I ain't went to that screen. Let me think. Because I'm 49, but my brain does work. I'm just messing with you guys. If this is your first time, sometimes I am silly. But the information is good, right? But no. So what I was saying is you need to pay attention to your partner so that you'll know when they're off, right? So that you can step up and meet a need. Now, it's not all on you to decipher everything's going on with them. No. When you come to me, I help you guys know how to talk to each other and discuss your needs. And so you know what the needs are. But what I'm saying is sometimes life happens. And if you're tuned into your partner, you'll notice, hey, wait a minute. Something's off. And then you can put on your first responder uniform. I call it firefighter uniform. You go in and meet the love need, right? This is going to help you be a better lover. What was that? Number 3. Here's number 4. You must keep at the forefront of your mind. This is a good one. You must keep at the forefront of your mind that you are the primary relational need meter for your spouse or partner. You are the primary relational need meter, meaning you're the one that's supposed to meet the need primarily for your partner or spouse. Now, you're not going to meet all of their needs. It's not possible. God didn't design us to be able to do that. But you are the primary need meter. What does that mean? That means then, when they need, you're the first option. But if you're empty, how are you going to give? Which kind of which leads to my next this is number 5, right? My 5th one. So let me jump to the 5th one, then I'll come back to you being empty. You must be if you're going to be a conscious partner, you got to be self-aware. Yeah, you got to be self-aware so that you'll know. Number 1, so you'll know. So that you can keep yourself full, like I was saying in point 4. So you can keep yourself full so you can meet needs when it's time to meet needs, because you're the primary need meter. But also you got to be self-aware so that you can teach your spouse how to love you more deeply, right? It's only in the movies. It's only in Hollywood where we meet someone, there's chemistry, and you just know everything. You know how to meet all my needs. You know how to light me up like a Christmas tree, like you just know. And I get people coming into my office who think that because they have to tell their partner to do this or that, then it's not genuine, it's not real. That's baloney. You have to teach them how to love you. Like, it's not coming to America, whatever you like. Like, we don't, well, maybe some people have that. But that's not realistic. And your spouse was not raised to love you, and you were not raised to love them. Right? And so you have to teach them how to love you more deeply, but you got to be self-aware, and you cannot be self-aware if you're living at the subconscious level. All right? To be self-aware means that you are intentional about being a self-examiner on a regular basis. Regular basis, you're examining yourself. I have a habit of overthinking. I'm not saying that that's a positive, but because I'm so committed to self-examination, me and my wife go through situations, whether I'm at fault, whether she's at fault, or it's just a misunderstanding, I'm asking, hey, why did I respond that way? Why am I thinking this? What is it about what she said today that was different than what she said at the other time that I didn't get upset? Why did you go off like that? Like, I'm constantly trying to understand me. Why? Because I know that love is intentional, and I want to keep my wife lit up like a Christmas tree as much as possible. Y'all know that's my term for when we're connected and thriving, lit up like a Christmas tree. I love Christmas, so I just use that. For those of you who may think that you're already a conscious partner, ask yourself. I was thinking about some questions, and so on your journey to becoming a conscious partner, ask yourself this: does your partner feel that you want to know them? As a matter of fact, I should have made that a point, number 6, instead of a question. I should have said, because that is required, you have to want to know your partner, right? Which is, that leads to intimacy and all of that. But you got to want to know your partner, right? Does your partner feel like you want to know them? That you want to understand them? Or does your partner feel like you just tolerate them? Don't answer for them, ask. And then don't get mad at the answer. Why? Because you're just gathering information. And if you've been failing, okay, great, just turn it around. Don't get mad at them because they're not getting from you what you think you're giving. You listen to what they say, adjust if you don't want them to, feel that way. But does your partner feel like you want to know them, or that you're just tolerating them, right? Here's another question. Are you helping your partner become the best version of themselves? If you're not, what are you doing? If you're not helping them become their best self, what are you doing? I heard Matthew Kelly say, the purpose of relationships is to help each other become your best self. Now, watch this. The key word here is help, not make. I get some people who come in, wives are upset with their husbands because he won't start his business that he wants to start, or he's operating in fear and he won't step out of that. I understand. And these are not money situations. Like, they don't need the money. She's just upset because he don't follow through on his dreams. When you're helping someone, you don't take over, right? Like, if you come to my house to help me move, you move what I tell you to move. You're helping me. I say, hey, John, move the headboard. No, I don't want to move the headboard. I want to do the couch. I didn't ask you to. I need you to move the headboard. You're helping me. Or you can leave. I can just do it myself. Right? So, are you helping your partner become their best self? And if you're not, what are you doing? You're probably chilling in unconscious mode, right? And see, excuse me, as you become more conscious, you can tell, or you can see, that it takes you being intentional in your actions. I got this idea, after I talked to the couple, but I have this book called The Conscious Parent. And in it, she talks about how we parent from an unconscious level. We do what we've seen, what we think we know. We don't grow and learn better. And one of my things, like even these webinars that I do and all the videos that I do, all of it is trying to push you towards being a conscious partner, right? Here's another question I want to ask you too. Do you know what energizes your partner? Do you know what energizes your partner? Don't say nothing. If they're alive and they're human, it's something. Now, they may not know, and you may not have discovered it, but it's something. Do you know what energizes your partner? Are you interested in knowing? Know what's going on with my voice? Excuse me. Are you interested in knowing? Oh, it's getting deeper. Okay. I already got a wife, but I can use this deep voice for a little while. Let me stop playing with y'all. Let me stop playing with y'all. I don't know why I'm so silly. So speaking of wife, let me tell you something on this idea of conscious partner and wanting to know you. So the other day, my wife asked me a random, uncommon question that was not connected to a conversation we were having and is not connected to anything that we had previously talked about. It wasn't, it was just random. She hadn't heard me talking about this or anything. Here's what she asked me. Hey, babe, who's your favorite Hall of Fame player? Now, it's also important to know, let me give you the whole story. My wife don't know nothing about basketball. She don't like basketball. That ain't her thing. She know I love basketball. But we weren't watching the playoffs. We was in the bed. And I don't know what she was looking at on but she said, who's your favorite Hall of Fame player? Michael Jordan. I hope my son, Cliff, if you're watching this, LeBron is not the GOAT. It's MJ. But anyway, simple question. But watch this. What it told me was that she was thinking about me. And then she thought of something that she did not know. So she asked. And because I try to be a conscious partner, I was aware enough to know, hey, she's trying to get to know me. That's called intimacy, right? Random question about nothing, but it's information gathering. I got to tell y'all this, because I hadn't had a chance to tell anyone yet. I was too much in shock when it first happened. I didn't post it on social media or anything like that. And I think my wife is okay with this, because I told her that I was going to, share it with some folk, but I didn't say that I was going to do it this way. So y'all pray for me. Hope I don't get in trouble. But it's live. I can't, ask y'all next week. I guess I could wait till next week to tell it, but I'm not. So, because I'm talking about this conscious partner, right? This is a good example. So, my birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks, right? So my wife, who can't hold water, sometimes she can, but this time she was like, I want to give you one of your, no, she asked me, said, do you want one of your gifts early? You want one of your gifts now? I said, well, the fact that you're asking me tells me that you want to give it to me. So do you want to give it to me? She's like, yes. I'm like, okay. So she goes and grabs her Bible. So she's going to read me a scripture. That's what I thought. She gets her Bible. We get in the bed. We sit in the bed. She takes her Bible and she shakes it. And as she's shaking it, a ton of money fell out. It looked like a ton of money. And my eyes are just like, and I'm looking, it's not ones. And I'm like, what the? But it wasn't the money. Here's what got me. She said, I've been saving this since January. Every time you gave me some money, I just put it in the Bible because I heard you say. That pause was so I didn't cry on live. Because it hit me hard, and I maybe I shouldn't have told this because I guess it's still kind of, it was a big thing. But anyway, okay, here we go. I'm good. Every time you gave me money, I put it in my Bible to hide it because I heard you say that you wanted the new iPad, and I think she said I saw Pastor Daniels on TV with an iPad, and I said I wanted one. I guess it was back in January. I don't remember saying it. And ever since then, she's been, and I give my wife, just give her money, right? She's been saving that for my birthday in June. When she told me that, Doc, I was speechless. I was floored. I couldn't say anything. I did get teary eyed, but I was just like, wow, you would do that for me, right? That went straight to my heart, right? I'm like straight to my heart. That's being a conscious partner. That's knowing your partner, doing something that's valuable to them. That's the thing about love. I'm sorry if y'all heard that. You got to be intentional, but you got to do what's valuable to the person that you're giving to. My wife doing that, man, it kind of like, I told my wife, I said, babe, you are the birthday queen. Like I came out 2 years ago. She blew my mind. She didn't even spend a lot of money. So it's not about this wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the iPad. It was about her intent and her thought, right? That's conscious partner stuff. And when you're doing marriage, I understand that it can be a heavy burden. I understand that relationships are difficult, obviously, right? But you got to get to a place to where you don't allow the minutia of life to hinder you from being the kind of lover and partner that your partner needs. Don't be a sometimey kind of, when you live at the unconscious level, you may look sometimey. Because you have so much junk in there that you hadn't gotten rid of. And so living intentionally, I'm telling you to do this and you're still living down here. It's because you got too much junk in there. Well, what I want you to do is to start to work on that so that you can love better, so you can give more, right? So that your relationship can be more intimate. And that's what I was talking about as far as the intimacy. What my wife did for me was so intimate, right? It was so my thing is feeling seen. I felt like she saw me in that moment, and it just kind of blew me away. Now, I want to end with this. As a conscious parent, I was wondering when I was going to say parent, because I told you that's the book in my head. As a conscious partner, you have to become a student of your partner. As a conscious partner, you have to become a student of your partner, right? When I was in school, I was the kind of student that did enough to pass, right? Now, it wasn't because I didn't have the ability to excel. I wasn't motivated to excel. I just knew that I couldn't fail, right? But in relationships, that matter, you can't be I'm just trying to pass kind of student. You have to be I'm shooting for the honor roll, I'm shooting for the ding list kind of student. You have to be. Because here's my philosophy on marriage and, other significant relationships too, but primarily marriage. If you're going to do marriage, why suck at it? Like, marriage costs too much time, energy, money, struggle. It costs too much to be mediocre at it. Don't do that. Commit yourself to giving all you have to give. And let me say this, because it's kind of off topic, but not really. If you are the kind of person where your love is transactional, number one, that's not love. Number two, you're living at an unconscious level. Love is not transactional. Love is not you do for me, I do for you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's favor. And then favor doesn't even always work that way. But love is not transactional. Okay? So stop making your partner work for your love. Either you're going to love them or not. All right? Forget all of the jumping through hoops. And, I hear some crazy stuff in my office, obviously. Because we all crazy. The therapist included. That's me. That's just what it is. You got to talk to God about that. But anyway, that's what I have for you guys tonight. Let me get to if there are any comments and questions. See what you guys have. Because my voice just say we just not gonna act right tonight. Let's see. I can go back to the top of some of these questions. Let's see. Intentional, but intentional in doing what specifically? So be the spouse your spouse wants you to be. I could kind of put both of those together. Be intentional about the way you love. Like, be intentional about. So here's what I say. And I know, using my police analogy is kind of, may strike some nerves in the African American community, but it's the example I got. Love is like the police officer riding through the neighborhood, the good police officer riding through the neighborhood, looking for opportunities to be a police officer. While he's in the car, he's just cruising, making sure things are okay. But it's not until something pops off that he can be a police officer. Same with a firefighter, right? They just don't ride through the neighborhood. That's why I didn't use them. But firefighters are always firefighters, right? I played basketball this morning with a firefighter, but he was playing basketball. He wasn't fighting fires. He's still a firefighter. But it's not until there's a fire that he gets a chance to do what he does. And he's intentional, or should I say, he's always ready to fight fires because he's intentional about what he does. And so in the same way, your love has to be intentional. I often look for ways to make my wife smile. I know what her top needs are. I try to look for ways to meet those intentionally, as opposed to waiting to Valentine's Day or, some kind of special day. So that's kind of what I mean by intentional, because if it's not intentional, if we just look at 1 Corinthians, when it says love is patient, love is kind, like all of those things you cannot do without intentionality, right? So that's what I mean by intentional. Be the spouse your partner wants you to be the spouse they need. And being what they need, some of it is going to be what they want. But the main message is, don't try to be the kind of partner you want to be, right? Solely. Let me put it that way, right? Don't solely try to be the kind of husband or wife you want to be. Get their input. They're the ones receiving it, and people get caught up in, Well, I don't love like that. Love is it's not for you. It's for them. Well, I don't love like that. It's not for you. Right? I use this example all the time. It's like if if my wife, well, she does. My wife likes liver. I hate liver. Right? Liver it tastes like garbage. I don't eat liver. So my wife is gonna cook me a special dinner, and she'll go all out of her way. She get candles and flowers, and she make me a giant liver steak. To me, that's not loving. Because number one, I'm not impressed by candles and flowers. That's kind of like that just ain't man. It's a girl thing, but it's not me. And then she fixed me liver because it's special to her. I don't like liver. I want chicken. She likes chicken too, but if she hates chicken, she's like, I ain't fixing chicken because I don't like chicken. But it ain't for you. In the same way, the love that you give is not for you. That's why I tell people all the time, love is not about you. It's about the person you're loving. Pride is about you. Pride is about my needs, my wants, my hurts, my desires. And you're not going to walk in love and pride at the same time. You're going to do one or the other. Okay. So that's what I mean about as far as being the kind of spouse that your partner needs. Let's see. Generally, can I pull this on the screen? Let's see if it'll work. No, there it is. Let's make this go away so I can see. Okay. Generally, can men and women ever truly understand one another? Yes, we can understand, but you'll never understand the way they understand. That's no other person on the planet. Two men will never understand like you understand yourself. Like that's just not possible. Because no matter how detailed in the information you are, the thing that you two will never have is the same emotion surrounding the topic. So there's only so far your understanding can go. But the goal is to understand, not to agree. For example, if my wife, let's say my wife, she likes to put the trash. So my wife likes to put the trash by the in the kitchen, take it out the can, but leave it there by the trash can instead of taking it to the garage. And let's say I fussed, man, why don't you just like take it to the thing? She said, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then finally one day she said, I just don't like going out to the garage. And I'm like, well, I don't like going out there either, but I go. Understanding hasn't happened yet. So then when we have a conversation, I said, babe, okay, help me understand why you don't want to take the garbage to the garage. So then she says, well, because when I was a little girl, my daddy made me take the garbage out. This giant rat jumped out and bit me, and I had to go to the hospital, and it was a whole terrible ordeal. And I know we don't have rats, but I think about that sometimes. Now, this is not real. My wife don't have an issue with taking trash. I'm making a point. So she says, so I just believe that it's a man's job to take the trash to the garage. So when she says that, then now I understand why she does what she does. I don't have to agree with her logic. Like I can say, okay, I understand why you do what you do. I don't have to agree that it's the man's job, right? But I understand. So in that situation, because I understand, I can have compassion. This is a lesson I taught, I don't know when was the last time I did it live, but I talked about this back then. When you have understanding, then you can have compassion. But complete 100% understanding, no. I mean, God is perfect, and I don't understand him like that, right? He's the only one that has 100% perfect understanding. So, but you can seek to understand their perspective. And you honor their perspective, not agree with their perspective. That's very important, that you honor it without agreeing to it. Let's see. What do I do if my spouse does not respect my triggers? So when your spouse doesn't respect your triggers, you guys got to go to therapy, because that's a lack of showing love, right? I can't say your husband doesn't love you. I'm assuming you're a woman. Yeah. I'm not saying your husband doesn't love you, but that's not loving, right? And that happens on a consistent basis. There's some selfishness, there's some pride, there's some unconscious living going on, right? And you guys probably need help working that out. Because when you love someone, you don't intentionally hurt them. Like the times when I hurt my wife, I at all costs, I try to avoid all of her triggers. The ones that I know about, I avoid them. Why? What am I push them for? What's the point? You're not the neighbor's spouse, you're my spouse. I got to take care of you. So I'm avoid all the triggers. If I can get this done by avoiding this trigger while you work on it, then I'm good with that. So if he's disrespecting your triggers, I'll tell you this though, because I'm real big on not talking to the person who's not here, or the person that's not talking. So I'm gonna tell you what to do. You work on your triggers so they don't work. Right? You deactivate all of your buttons. So when you push them, they don't work no more. And you want to get to the place to where when he pushes your button, instead of anger or sadness or cursing or whatever comes out, nothing but love comes out. But to do that, that means you got to put love in. Because the only thing that can come out of you is what is in you. Yeah. So you want to get to the place, because otherwise you allow your husband or whoever else who has the trigger remote to control you. You don't want that. You got to be in control of you. So you got to deactivate the triggers. I hope that was helpful. Let's see. Emotional needs of the woman more often are far outweigh the needs of no, not at all. Not at all. In popular culture, let me just say this way. A lot of men think that. Well, actually, I shouldn't say men. Some women think that, they'll come and say, well, I'm just simple. I don't need much. You're human. You have needs. Here's the problem, though, and I used to be here. You can be what we call needless and wantless, meaning you're so disconnected from yourself that you don't even know what you need. But all of us have these 10 core relational needs built into our brain. It's wired in. I talked about that last time too. I'm not about to try to call all of them by heart because I hadn't memorized all 10 of them. But all of us have the same basic needs, basic relational needs. Now, there are some things that we call needs that are not needs, right? These 10 things all humans need, but not all 10 of them carry the same weight for everybody, right? But yeah, no. In general, all of us humans have all of us have the same needs, right? Your husband, your wife, your children, your parents, same needs. They all get met differently, and different ones matter to different people at different times sometimes, right? But I hope that answered your question. The woman's needs does not outweigh the man's needs. I'm speaking in general. No, that's not true. Let's see. Are we responsible for our own happiness? Absolutely. It's very hard to meet others' emotional needs. That part's not true. So the first part of your question, yes. The second part of your question, not so much. Unless you're empty, right? I said that in the talk, but yes, you are 100% responsible for your own happiness. Happiness is not a marriage phenomenon. It's an individual phenomenon. The way you have a happy marriage is two people being happy and getting married. That's it. But happiness, it's your responsibility for your life to thrive. Your life. I tell people this: your life is yours. God gave it to you to make great. He's not going to even make it great for you. Now He'll work with you, and He'll do what you can't do. But it's up to you to make it great, not Him. So yes, your happiness is your responsibility. But it's very hard to meet others' emotional needs. Well, that's all we got in relationship. You got food, water, shelter, bonding. Bonding, i.e. relational needs, are the only ones you can't meet for yourself. So somebody else has to meet them. Now it may be a learning situation where we have to, learn what I'm talking about as far as emotional needs, but not everything that we think is a need, right? So if you guys want, I could talk about that next week, go over the needs again and talk about love and how to walk that out. Um, but yeah, no, you definitely are responsible for your own life, and it's not hard to meet others' relational needs unless, and I'm not talking about you specifically, I'm not talking about anybody, but unless you're selfish. When you're self-centered, it's hard as hell to meet somebody else's need because you're focused on you. That's just what it is. Or you're really wounded and injured, and that still makes you focused on you, right? I tell people all the time, when you're love deficient, you have a tendency to pay more attention to yourself than to others. But you don't heal yourself that way. Now, research, not the Bible, I mean, it's in the Bible, but research says we heal ourselves when we give outwardly, whether it's our time, whatever. When we give, we actually heal ourselves internally. Yeah. But most times in marriage, it's like, I ain't doing for you because you ain't done for me. Try to understand why. Or what's the point of doing, like I said, what's the point of doing marriage if it's not going to be two givers? And it don't have to be equal giving. I say equal sacrifice, right? But it don't have to be equal giving. What they give to you is less your business. What's more your business of what you give to them is what you give to them. That's more of your business than what they give to you. But that too is a whole different topic. Sonny said, go ahead and get in trouble. Let's see. Thank you, Miss Desiree, for joining. I appreciate it. Let's see. You say that's not understanding then. I don't know when this question came, so I wouldn't know what exactly you were responding to, Brown. So you would have to tell me. Let's see. She gonna kill me. You have to be willing to put in the work, not be triggered by your triggers, or again deactivate them, because that's a lot of stress and a lot of work just trying to avoid your own triggers. Like, do the work so they don't work no more. I don't want to be bothered by that. Dr. Marx called them stories. It's just a story that's playing in your head. Like your belief that you're not good enough. Good enough for what? Where you get it from? Your belief of, and I'm not saying you specifically, I'm talking about people. I'm not talking about the person who asked the question. I'm not talking about Sonia specifically, but when you believe that you don't matter to who? Do you matter to you? Right? It's just a story that you really have no evidence for, but it keeps playing in your head. But I can help you with that. Okay, so let's see. Most men don't need much emotionally. That is definitely not true. That is not true. And unfortunately, a lot of men live that way. And that's just not true. The problem is when you get a man who know that he needs, so the emotional needs is just about connection, right? At the end of the day, I'm talking about connection. But the man who knows that he needs connection, and then he comes across a woman who believes, well, men not supposed to need much, then they gonna clash, right? And vice versa. The problem is a lot of times men who don't feel like they have a lot of needs emotionally, then don't become emotionally intelligent enough to meet their wife's emotional needs, right? Here's some of the needs: comfort, acceptance, approval, appreciation, security, support, respect. I know that's at least 7. I don't know all 10 of them. That's at least 7 of them. Let's see. Marital needs. So I don't know. So you'd have to tell me what the marital needs are. When you say marital needs, are they different than like regular relational needs? Like somebody, cooking or cleaning or washing clothes or ironing my clothes or sex. Like I'm not sure what kind of needs you mean. So even sex. Let's talk about sex. People think that sex is a need. Sex is not a need. I know, don't shoot me. I'm just telling you. Now, you don't have to believe it. You can do what you want to do with it. But sex is not a need. Because if it was, then when does it stop being a need? It's not a need for a 5-year-old. It's not a need for a 99-year-old. So then it can't be a need because needs don't change. Now, here's what sex does. Sex is a vehicle to meet another need, like appreciation or comfort or support even, or attention, right? Sex meets other needs itself. Just like, so I can say like we need to eat, but we don't need to eat burgers. I hope that's a good example. But yeah, so you'd have to help me know what marital needs are versus like other needs. That's the only thing I can think of is sex. Oh yes, do please tell me. I want to know what is contradictory, because I don't want to be. I definitely don't want to send you guys mixed messages. I want to be as clear as possible. So I may have misstated something or misspoke something, or So help me help you. And let me scroll down to the bottom because I think your questions are going quicker than my scroller. Let's see. How can a woman meet my security needs? So that's what you would have to tell her. So security is not about, security is beyond like somebody jumping you. He said she can't fight. Right. I feel you. I wouldn't want my wife trying to protect me in that way either. But security also has to do with relational security. Like, you're not worried about if she coming home, if she's sleeping with people. Like, that's not secure. I'm not secure. Right? Remember, these are emotional needs. These are emotional needs, relational needs. So security in the relationship, security in I can trust, like, I can trust you. Another way you say trust, right? Security and trust are like the same. I can trust you with my heart. I can trust you with my vulnerability, right? That can speak to security. Does that make sense? So not necessarily like physical protection. Although my wife will kill a rock for me. My wife will. Let's see. I'm assuming this. Oh yes, it is. Was for sex. I feel you. I don't know, but I'm assuming. Let's see. Marital needs equal. Okay, so here's what you're saying. Let's see. Come on over here. Marital needs equals cooperation and sex. Okay. I don't know if I have a rebuttal against it. I just would take the word needs off. In the context of what I'm talking about. I guess I do understand what you're saying as far as marital needs. But what I'm saying is needs speak to survival is what I'm saying. And no one is going to die if they don't have sex. If you believe that and if you operate that way, I promise you don't have to believe it. Something else is going on. Something else is going on. If you can't control your sexual urges, if a person can't control their sexual urges and I just gotta have it, what's the difference between that person and the person I just gotta steal, like a kleptomaniac? Like, I got to steal. I cannot control this urge. Like, you gotta learn to control it. But no, I still wouldn't say that that's a need. But I understand, if I'm okay with if we don't agree, I'm good with that. I don't mind. They don't have to stray. That's what I'm saying. You saying they'll stray? Who for that? That's a lack of self-control. If I could be transparent, I can't because I would get fired by my wife. But I could tell you about a situation with me and my wife where, like, sex can't be the end all and be all to any relationship. Sex is like the star on the top of the Christmas tree, but it's not the Christmas tree. And if you make sex the most important thing, that's just dangerous. It was never designed to be that way. But I know folk live however they want to live. Like we got same-sex marriages and a whole lot of other stuff. No, I'm not going down that route. I'm just saying folk do what they want to do, but that don't make it right. And you have free will. God gave it to you. But be careful. Just be careful. Because that can be a very, very slippery slope. Why he gave you testosterone, I don't know. I mean, but why? I guess also ask him why he gave you fingers and eyes and hair. And to say that is then to say that the only purpose for testosterone is sex, because women have testosterone and men have estrogen. Testosterone ain't like that's number one, it's not just for sex, but number two, because men get married, right? And so in marriage, yes, you are supposed to have sex, but that don't make it a need. That don't make it a need. Like we have in our bodies, we have a spleen. I think you could take your spleen out and still live. I mean, it ain't a need. It's useful. Now, and I'm talking about stuff I don't know as far as the body is, that ain't my expertise. But I do know relationships. Sex is not a need. Now that I agree 100%. I do agree with this. Sex within a marriage should not be controlled. I agree. That I agree with. Sex should not be used as a weapon. It should not be rationed out for good behavior. Sex, how we get on sex? Okay. Sex is supposed to be the relationship enhancer to make your relationship more beautiful. It shouldn't make or break your relationship. It shouldn't be the end all be all, right? So no, sex should not be controlled in the sense where I give it when I want to give it. It's two of you. What does the us want in the relationship? What works for the unit? Right? And this is something that I don't know if I talked about this in Manhood Mondays, but I was saying just today that I need to go back over this. Men and women are different in how they become sexually stimulated and how they, how their whole sexual thing work. So like for men, we're stimulated primarily by what we see. We can see somebody and we're ready. We can have an argument, see a naked wife, bam, we're ready to go. Women, their bodies and their mind and their emotions, they're kind of synced. And so it's more difficult for them to have an argument and then their body work right. Like they don't have to try to say, I ain't giving you none. Now, if she do that, that's a different issue. But what I'm saying is women are stimulated with intimacy that happens before the bedroom. And if you're not treating a woman right, it's highly likely that the sex is going to suffer. When people come into my office and they have sex issues, it's not a sex issue, it's a connection issue. And somewhere else, there's probably a lot of disrespect going on. Now, that's just my experience as far as the disrespect. But there's something else going on other than sex. No sex, or sex issues is a symptom of a bigger issue. Symptom of a bigger issue. Y'all gonna let Brown answer. I'm guessing Brown is the guy. Y'all gonna let Brown ask all the questions. Y'all just watching. I'm watching this. Where my popcorn? This is good. Okay, cool. Let's go. I mean, so ask any husband it's a need. Well, ask any racist. Black folk are not necessary. Just because they say so don't make it so. And I'm a husband. I'm not just a therapist. I'm also a client. I mean, and I'm not trying to be, TMI, but I don't think there's a person that loves sex more than me. I don't think there's a person that has had, few people have probably had more sexual, not trauma. I can't say nothing that's not TMI. So let me just say, I love sex, but it ain't a need. Now, I'll say this. I wonder if you agree with this. Sex is necessary. 100, it is definitely necessary, right? It's necessary, but it's not a need, meaning you're not gonna die without it. Your marriage won't fold without it. It can, but it's the same with money. Like marriages fold when there's money issues. Marriage fold when there's disrespect issues. But it don't have to, right? So here's the thing about the truth. The truth doesn't change contextually. Facts do, but the truth doesn't, right? The truth is always the truth. It Whether or not you believe it, it's up to you, but the truth never changes. The truth is constant. And so like saying that water is a need, it's not like, water is a need until you get a certain age and then it's not a need anymore. It's always a need. In the same way, sex is not always. Truth is always. But I mean, that's not really a debate we got to have. You're free to believe what you want. It's not what I'm gonna teach, right? And whoever want to, live that way, feel free. I don't. It doesn't bother me. I'm just telling you that you're gonna injure yourself and possibly your partner if that's like playing out in your relationship or marriage or whatever. I just not healthy. I just don't believe it's healthy. Wait, what did I say, Miss Desiree? I'm happy you said that. That's so true. It's a connection issue. Yes, I know. I know. Because I've been in a relationship where the issue was me. And again, like I say, all I need to do is see. But the disconnection was so great, my body wouldn't work. Like I couldn't get turned on. Not with my current wife. But I'm just saying. That connection piece. And the thing is, as you get older, this is the gospel according to Clifton. Okay? I don't have research for this. I don't have Bible for this. This is just what I think, this part. As you get older and mature, I'll say it this way. As I've gotten older and mature, I don't want sex just for sex. Like I don't want too many quickies. I want the connection, right? I want the connection and the everything that comes with it. I don't want to just have an orgasm. When I was a kid, I ain't just bam, bam, bam. Just okay. But now, no. I love my wife, and I want that intimate connection outside the bedroom. So when we get in the bedroom, Doc, it just happens. Like nobody got to plan nothing. Because it's so good outside the bedroom. But if it sucks out there and then in the bedroom, it's just a duty. It's just me. I don't want my wife sleeping with me out of duty. I don't want that. I want her doing it out of love because she cares and she wants to satisfy me. Not because, here, go on, take it. I know you need some. I don't want that. I'll do it myself. I don't want that. That's right. Necessary, but not a need. Yeah. It's necessary that you eat. It's not a need that you eat burgers. Right? That was different in my head. It's necessary. I mean, it's a need that you eat. That's what I meant to say. It's a need that you eat. It's not necessary that you eat burgers. So need and necessary are not one and the same. But perhaps that's tomato. Sound like apples and oranges to me, but it could be tomato. I don't know. Anyway, hey, we done went a whole hour. I love questions. Y'all know I love questions. Brown was the only one asking me questions, so I appreciate the dialogue, Brown. The rest of y'all, yeah, that's what I think, apples and oranges. The rest of y'all, thank y'all for watching and, tuning in. So next week, I'll send out an email. You guys can let me know if you want to talk about more about the conscious partner as far as what that looks like specifically, or if you want to talk about love, needs, and favor. Right? We can work that out. So you guys let me know. Right. I was making the point of what's a need and what's not a need. Right? So here's what I said. As humans, I'm not even breaking it down male and female. All of us are human. We all have 4 areas of basic needs: food, water, shelter, bonding. All of those can kill us. If you don't bond well with another, well, first of all, when you get here to the planet, if you don't bond to a human, you're going to die. The infant will die. Beyond that, if you don't bond well to other humans, you may not die literally, but like life just like we're not designed to be alone. That's what the whole bonding part is. And what I'm saying is, out of the 4 areas of needs that I just named, only one of those you can't meet for yourself, which is the relational needs. Marital needs are the same as relational needs. And if you want to create other needs, you can, but that don't make it so. Right? It's kind of like when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, and they built a golden calf and say, this the God that brought us out of Egypt. You can say that all you want, but it ain't true. He didn't. But you're free to believe it, though. I'm good with it. But and if you want to talk, Brown, if you want to talk more offline, we can. Or if you're good, I'm good with that. But I do appreciate the dialogue, because I like thinking, and I like answering questions, and I like being clear. Right. So I hope you guys have a great evening. As always, I love feedback. So if you got any questions for me, you can email me. I'll send out an email to let you know when I'll be going live again. It won't be long like last time. It'll be maybe next week, not longer than 2 weeks, right? I'll give you my word on that. All right. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time.